is the Wrestlebread Podcast, bringing you the latest news, recaps, and analysis of AEW and WWE. Get the unique perspective from a wrestling fan of over 25 years. Here's your host, Jaydee.
What's going on, guys? This is Jaydee, and this is episode 161 of the Wrestlebread Podcast. So, we had a great time these past couple of weeks with WWE, particularly WWE Raw. Who would have known that you would watch 3 hours of wrestling and you sit there and you kind of want more and you can't wait till next week? Haven't had that feeling with Raw in a very, very long time. But there's a lot that has gone on in WWE, and there's some things that's going on in AEW as well. So I hope everyone has had a great summer. We are winding down. My kids start school next week. I'm not done doing school shopping. Then summer goes by so fast, you turn around and realize you didn't do anything really this summer. So the past couple of days, I've been trying to do as much as I can for summer. So I went to the shore, I went to a Phillies game, and just trying to cram as much as I can before, it starts getting cooler and then it starts snowing and all the other crap that happens in the Northeast. However, the great thing about fall is that football is coming back. My Sundays will be jam-packed of me sitting in front of the TV, just watching game after game after game. Go Cowboys. But I normally play fantasy football, but there has been so many crazy trades this off season, and I haven't been keeping up with the off season. I got to sit down and figure out all that's going on in the NFL. But however, let's get into some good wrestling. Let's get into first some rumors and news going on. So Chris Statlander unfortunately has another knee injury. I feel so bad for her because it looks like they were definitely going to, I hope, use her to finally defeat Jade Cargill and she gets the TBS championship, and then maybe Jade Cargill will start feuding with Athena afterwards to kind of let Chris Statlander get a bit of a title reign, but unfortunately she has the knee injury, so hopefully she has a speedy recovery. A lot of people were talking about how Tony Khan had praised WWE because of the things that's going on over there. It is what it is. Like, if you're not going to acknowledge that WWE is doing things, I mean, let's be all honest, the reason why we are in wrestling today 99.9% of the time has to do with WWE. There is a small percentage that came into wrestling through either WCW or ECW, but the majority of people came into wrestling through WWE. Also, with WWE, Road Dogg now allegedly has a job back with WWE, which I'm not that shocked about. For some reason, he has been campaigning for a job with AEW on all social networks, which in my opinion don't really make sense because he's been bad-mouthing AEW every single chance that he gets. Like, I mean, what employer will hire you if you have been publicly putting down the company every single chance you get? I mean, if I'm a famous person, well, not even a famous person, but if I go around, sitting there talking crap about Chipotle and how Qdoba is better and all the other stuff, and then I apply for Chipotle and they look at my social media posts and see, wait, she's been talking mad crap about Chipotle, they're not going to hire me. So I'm glad Tony Khan, had the sense to not hire him. Especially since he has been bad-mouthing him the whole time. But he is with WWE, so I'm sure that he is happy to be back with that company. Also, something that I noticed too, especially very recently, is that so many people have been reporting, now besides the CM Punk situation, but so many people and the quote-unquote insiders have been really been putting down AEW, which is like, I thought AEW was like the crowning jewel, and but I guess it's because Vince McMahon is gone. It's no longer the easy target to talk crap about WWE, because now WWE is on the rise with Triple H taking over as creative, and a lot of fans and the IWC, of course, is getting a lot of things that they want. So you can't really talk bad about WWE because Papa H is in charge. So now the only thing you can do now is start bad mouthing AEW. Like, I forgot exactly the reports that I've been reading, but I was reading something, and it was like, so I forgot what they reported, but it was something like, well, of course that is what's going on. Like something along the lines of actually recently there was a report, I think it was Dave Mesler who said it, but apparently there's a report that they've been piping in crowd sounds with Rampage, which I guess they were saying that to kind of make the comparison to WWE, but in all honesty, it's not the same thing. WWE piped in sounds so to make it seem like the wrestler who would normally not be cheered for would get cheered for, especially famous with Roman Reigns back when they was trying to push him as the underdog, and they didn't want fans booing them, or the fans at home to know that he's being booed, so they piped in sounds. When it comes to AEW, they're piping in sounds on Rampage because the crowd is tired as all hell. Now I get they do this, because of budget and to save money, but it comes at the expense of the fans. When I went to AEW Philly the first time they came to Philly, um, first of all, I got there probably like 30 minutes before Dynamite started, and they were filming, I think it was dark that they were filming. And then you have Dynamite from 8 to 10, and then it was like maybe a 10-15 minute bit of rest period, and they switch over to Rampage. And I would say maybe like 10:15ish, and by the time Rampage is over, it's 11 o'clock. So if you had showed up early to catch the dark or a dark elevation taping, you're there for like a good 4-5 hours. Because after Rampage, then they have a little segment for to send the crowd off happy. When I went with AEW, in Philly, they had the ECW originals come out and greet the fans, and then CM Punk had came out and made a joke about how he was ECW champion as well. And so by the time you get home, it's probably like 12 something in the morning. So yeah, they have to pipe in that sound because the crowd is like so damn tired. And I'm sure there's people out there who went to AEW Dynamite and stayed for the Rampage and was probably like tired as all hell, especially if you're part of a lively crowd and you're like hyped during Dynamite. By the time you get to Rampage, you're like pretty tired and you just want to sit there and enjoy the show. So it's not exactly the exact same thing, but I get it. It's now WWE is now on the up and up, and you don't really want to badmouth Triple H. But I do want people to take off the rose-colored glasses, because while we are getting a lot of things that we want with Papa H, there's going to be some things that's going to slip up. There's some things that are still going on that hasn't really been addressed. But I feel as though I would say it would take maybe a year for us to truly see everything that Triple H, the full picture of Triple H and creative. Because right now we still have Roman Reigns with both titles. We still have the Usos with both tag team titles. There's still Charlotte Flair, things like that. There's Ronda Rousey and everything. So we still have pieces that needs to be addressed. What about Brock Lesnar? Is Goldberg still floating around? What about The Undertaker? Even though he's technically retired, he could come back at any point in time. And even with Triple H bringing in all of his former NXT kids, what is he doing with NXT 2.0, for example? What is happening with the true the true issue, the true thing, what is truly going to be NXT UK, which we got a little bit of news about as well. But I feel as though, it'll take about a year for us to truly see what Triple H really is as far as creative. Because even though Vince is no longer around, Vince planned out a lot of things. I'm sure, even though he switches things around, that the WrestleMania main event was pretty much like written down and locked in stone, for a certain point. So Triple H has to address it. What is going to happen to Cody when he comes back? I mean, we all know that Triple H is Cody's favorite wrestler, so I don't know what is going to happen to him when he gets back. We know Triple H can be a bit petty. As much as he is a papa, he could be a bit petty. So, I'm very interested to see how he is going to be with Cody Rhodes when Cody Rhodes comes back. Because, Cody Rhodes was, he was breaking thrones and having sledgehammers and saying a lot of things about Papa H. And now, all of a sudden, he's his favorite wrestler and he idolized him. And he used to wear leather jackets and spit out water in the air just like his idol. I mean, he's really coming across a bit like R-Truth with John Cena, but that's a whole other story on that one. But speaking of what NXT UK, there have mentioned, or it has been said that there were a lot of releases with NXT UK. We also seen a lot of people show up with NXT Heatwave as well. A lot of the champions, mainly from NXT UK, has showed up and attacked and pretty much invaded NXT 2.0. And so the news came out that NXT UK will become NXT Europe. So I don't know if people remembered, before Triple H was taken out of from NXT and NXT became NXT 2.0, Triple H was planning to take over the world as far as NXT. He mentioned it was a presentation of, there's NXT UK, NXT India. He was thinking he couldn't get NXT Japan because New Japan was like, don't bring that shit here. I believe he was going to bring NXT into South America as well, probably Antarctica. If he could just put a few things together, he probably could do Antarctica. But yeah, he's pretty much going to take over the world as far as wrestling. And now he has creative control over the main roster. I mean, Stephanie is part CEO. I mean, Nick Khan is there, but still, money talks. And I'm sure Triple H is looking to take over all of wrestling, which will be very interesting to see because what happened with NXT, there was a massive hiring from Triple H because he was hiring a lot of top-notch indie wrestlers, men and women. So I'm very interested to see how, that's going to look. Once, like I said, it'll take a year for us to really see. Definitely, I would say maybe this time next year. Once he, gets WrestleMania 39 out the way, I'm sure they're working. I'm sure the main event is probably the main event that Vince kind of had planned, unless Triple H just, tear that page out of the book and throw his own people in there, but that's a different story. But I think it's going to, about this time next year, we'll see exactly what Triple H's vision of the main roster is going to be. So going into AEW, I had spoke about some issues and, a lot of news that has come up with AEW. I woke up one morning and I see a news article that CM Punk had threatened, like it was some issues backstage and CM Punk threatened to leave the company and all this other stuff. And I'm like, where the hell did this come from? But, then we saw what happened on Dynamite. CM Punk came out with a fiery promo, sat there and called out Hangman Adam Page and said all this other crap and stuff, which I'm like, okay, that kind of came out of nowhere. Didn't you beat Adam Page for the title? Like, what's going on? But yeah, there's a lot of rumors and news that CM Punk is now unhappy with AEW and nearly quit the company, which I was confused at first because I was like, aren't you the damn champ? They made you the champion within 6 months, sir. Like, you know, what's going on here? Like, Tony Khan did that whole little press conference where he sat there and started yelling and screaming and like had a whole rant about how you're the best in the world and you deserve to be champ and all this other stuff. Even though there is a line of people who should have been champ before CM Punk, but you know, you gotta go, I guess you gotta go with the person who will generate the most buzz and money for you. So I was like, well, what the hell happened? Where is this coming from? So the whole thing is, if you don't know the story, this stems from apparently Colt Cabana. I did remember hearing that Colt Cabana was put to Ring of Honor. A lot of people were interested on how things are going to happen with Colt Cabana and CM Punk in the same company. What are we going to do? Are they just like avoiding each other in the hallway? Because it's a small world. But Colt Cabana had went on to Ring of Honor, and apparently that wasn't the end of the story. Even though, you know, a lot of details were not put out since, you know, he was put on Ring of Honor, but apparently Colt Cabana is very popular with the wrestlers backstage. He's apparently like a coach or something like that. And then when he got moved down to Ring of Honor, apparently, now I don't know how much this is true, so you know, don't take my word for it, but apparently Tony Khan was actually had plans to let Colt Cabana go, but because of the backstage backlash for Colt Cabana being let go, he decided then to put him on Ring of Honor, which people found an issue with because like, okay, you're moving Colt Cabana away because of CM Punk. And apparently Hangman Adam Page had took issue to that. Now I do remember Page had made a promo about how, you know, he is trying to save AEW from CM Punk. And I forgot exactly what he said, but he kind of made a reference and it had to do with Colt Cabana, which is, and so there's now this whole issue backstage of people being upset because, you know, it sounds like CM Punk is kind of going into business with himself. Which, you know, should we really be that surprised about that? Like, let's be honest. CM Punk was let go from WWE, and WWE, Vince McMahon, did not take him back. I don't think he asked for him back or anything like that. And we have seen Vince McMahon get put down by wrestlers and he let them come back and do business with them. The amount of money that he could have generated with CM Punk would have been crazy. Now, yes, CM Punk would have said no, but allegedly, and I don't know my source, so, you know, if it's not true, then oh well. But apparently, they didn't even want CM Punk to be hired by Fox for that wrestling recap show. They didn't want him on there at all. And for Vince McMahon to turn down a profit like that, I mean, you know, it is what it is, but I don't know. Like, I'm not surprised that there are issues with CM Punk. As much as CM Punk is good on the mic and promos and stuff like that, and he has such a great following, like, I'm not exactly surprised by this. I don't know if I should be surprised that, you know, there is this backstage issue with it, but I'm not exactly surprised, if that makes sense. Like, like, obviously he has a type of ego, and like, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that there is an issue, because there was issues with him backstage too with WWE. I believe it was with The Miz. Like, he got along with people, of course, but I think he also had issues with people backstage outside the whole Triple H and Dwayne and all that stuff that he was complaining about. But, you know, we will see. I'm very interested to see how this story goes. Now, this is going to be the true test for Tony Khan, okay? You are the owner of a company. You have two employees that have an issue with each other. Yes, one of them is high ranking, in your company, he's the champion, whatnot. But the other person was with your damn company and held it down during the pandemic. He was part of the Dark Order, which was very popular. I mean, the big portion of the popularity was with Brody Lee, but however, he came to your company and helped raise the popularity of the company as well. And seems like, you kind of throw him out for the more popular guy, the flavor of the month type of situation. Um, but I'm very interested to see what Tony Khan is going to do, how he's going to handle it. You now have disgruntled backstage. You are now the topics of the dirt sheets now. And your company isn't looking all, your company isn't the new kid on the block that everyone is rooting for. Now, how you're going to handle all this. We've seen how he handled MJF, which, he didn't do, he didn't do any Twitter rants about it this time. They kind of like swept it under the rug, and less people are now talking about the MJF situation. But however, now you got another situation. I don't know how much of sweeping under the rug you can do with this one, but we'll see how he handles this situation. So going into, I'm gonna do like brief overviews. I know this been like 2 weeks since the last episode, and so much has happened. So I'll just do like an overview of kind of the overview of what happened past 2 weeks. So let's start off with AEW. First of all, I love lucha matches. The lucha trios match, I believe it was, between Death Triangle and Andrade, Roosh, and Dragon Lee, I think it was. Very good. Chef's kiss to it. We also had, first of all, and then they also made the announcement that this past week's show actually was presented by HBO's House of Dragons. So I was like, oh, okay, you guys got a little something something. You guys, making a little come up in the world, being presented by something notable. It's not like DraftKings, which everyone is sponsored by apparently, but you got HBO coming in here, which little applause to you guys for that one. Darby versus Brody King, the finish could have been a little bit better. The one thing I really appreciate when it comes to House of Black and all that stuff is every single person that Malachi Black sprayed, they have something, they have the black marking in the eyes. Applause for, being consistent with it. As we saw Sting, he had the black circle around his eye. So it's like, is Sting going to turn? Like, what are we doing here? Very intriguing. And then we also see Miro as well. He cut a promo, and then Julia Hart kind of like popped up on him, and then he was pretty much like, be gone, bitch, type of situation. I thought that was very unique. Like, it's not that often that you see a promo and then you see someone else walk up, like when it's the live interviews, but you don't really see like the promo vignettes happen and the person kind of like pops up and like interacts with the person, if that makes sense. But yeah. We also had Madison versus Jade. Madison Rain, I believe it was. It was okay. It was all right. And then we had Moxley versus Jericho. Of course, Moxley's bleeding again, and then that's when we get CM Punk coming back after Moxley wins, and then we kind of get a bit of a showdown between them two. Listen, I like Jon Moxley, I really do, but somebody needs to tell him, like, yo, you're bleeding more than half of the roster of ECW. Like, let's just scale it back, yo. We don't need to bleed during every single match. Like, it's free TV match. You don't need to bleed. It was Chris Jericho at that. It's not some hard hitting type of match. This wasn't a street fight or something like. I mean, it wasn't like a barbed wire match or something like that where it makes sense for the blood. But Jon Moxley is like, I'm gonna make up for all the non-bleeding matches I had in WWE, and I'm just gonna wear a crimson mask. Like, he might as well paint his face red or something like that, for how much he bleeds in his face. It's crazy. So getting into the House of Dragon episode of Dynamite. First of all, we had CM Punk, and I mentioned this before, CM Punk coming out just throwing shots at Jon Moxley, saying that, he's always the third best and stuff like that, and just really coming at him. Saying that he's always been number two, he's the third popular guy in his group and stuff like that, which seems to be, we're just bringing WWE into it. Like, he might as well just said, I mean, he brought in a lot of WWE stuff. Like, I appreciate that we're acknowledging that, people had careers previous to the company that they're in, but it's just like sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes you got a little different ammo. But, this is CM Punk's first time that we're doing this, kind of getting a bit of shades of 2011 CM Punk. Then Jon Moxley comes out and was pretty much just like, I'm a wrestler. I'm here to wrestle. You're here for the money, basically. And CM Punk was like, yeah, I'm here for the dollars and cents. And then he came at Eddie Kingston and said that he's the third best Eddie, that he's been in the locker room, and the second best Kingston. I'm like, oh, shots fired. Letting us know that Kofi Kingston is better than Eddie Kingston. I was like, whoa. Put down the weapons, sir, and step away from step away from the gun. And so then they had a back and forth fight. Of course, they brawl. The security guards come out, and then it's the thing that they always do in wrestling, where the security guards separate the guys, and then one guy breaks free, and he, instead of just going up and just clocking a person in the face, they do the jumping lunge, and then they start beating on the back. It's whatever. Just being nitpicky a bit for that one. But we had a lot of back and forth, and then Jon Moxley comes out again and called out CM Punk. I think that's what it was. Jon Moxley came out first, and then CM Punk came out, and then we had another beatdown, and then Tony Khan mentions, instead of waiting for All Out for CM Punk versus Jon Moxley, we're getting it on free TV technically this week. And I was a little confused because I was like, okay, so what are we doing for All Out, which is in 2 weeks? Like, is this match like going to start or not start, and then we get it again on All Out? Like, I don't know what we're doing here. And then if we do get an actual finish to this match, then what? Like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't know if CM Punk is not 100% healed. And so we're going to have this match to crown Jon Moxley as the actual champion. But AEW has this weird thing with their world title that, the title reigns last for a pretty lengthy amount of time. So if CM Punk actually wins this, then what? Then what are we going to do? Especially with the fact that we have the situation going on with CM Punk. Which, of course, the funny thing, the thing that I find so funny with these news with AEW, because it happened with MJF and now it's happening with CM Punk, people don't know if this is an actual story or whatnot. Which, kudos to Tony Khan and, the people over there who's feeding the dirt sheets. Because you got people wondering, is this an actual story? Is this wrestling? A, B, C, D. Like, which one is it? So, if this is just a work to feed into a storyline, kudos to Tony Khan, but I highly doubt that is, but just wanted to throw that out there. And then we get Bryan Danielson going against Daniel Garcia, which was a pretty good match. A lot of people, I've realized as a wrestling fan for a very long time, it'll be 30 years this coming Sunday. I've come to realize, and it's a very hard pill for me to swallow, that there is a group of people out there who were not alive during the Attitude Era. I know there's people out there who were not fans during the Attitude Era, but there are groups of people who were not alive, like didn't exist when the Attitude Era happened. And what I'm seeing on Twitter is people making comparisons to Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock. Some people make comparisons to John Cena, but there are always people who make comparisons of this match is like Stone Cold versus The Rock. This person is going to become the next Stone Cold. This person is going to become the next Rock, which you can't be. Though there's people who are very similar to The Rock. I always say Ricky Starks has charisma like The Rock. I say that, Dexter Loomis is like the horror version of Stone Cold Steve Austin. But we're never going to get, not in our lifetime. It may happen 100 years from now if wrestling is still around. We're not going to get another John Cena. We're not going to get another Stone Cold. We're not going to get another Rock. We're not going to get another Undertaker WrestleMania streak. Just like how there's never been another Bruno Sammartino, there's never been another Harley Race, there's never been another Hulk Hogan, there's never been another Ultimate Warrior. There's never going to be any of these other wrestlers. These are once in a lifetime type of moments. Let's just take a moment and just enjoy what it is. If you love to watch those moments, you can watch it on YouTube, the WWE Network, wherever. But we're not going to get something like that in another lifetime. Just like we won't get another AJ Styles. We won't get another Edge. We won't get another Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief. Put your ones in the air. We're not going to get those again. Because every decade of wrestling is completely different. Every year of wrestling is completely different. Every single month of wrestling is completely different from it was before. And we're coming in with different personalities, new personalities. There's never going to be another Medusa / Alundra Blaze. There's not going to be another Sasha Banks. There's not going to be another Trish or Lita. That's why they keep bringing them back. Because we're not going to get Trish or Lita again. We will get people whose wrestling style resembles certain people, or whose charisma or the way that they talk or cut promos is similar to other people, but we're not going to get those type of people. So people sitting there saying, oh, I think if someone said Wheeler Yuta versus Daniel Garcia is going to be like Stone Cold versus The Rock to me, which I love. Come on, I love Wheeler Yuta. First of all, Philly, stand up. And I like Dan Garcia because I call him baby. In his head, he's baby Brock Lesnar. But that's not the same. Let's keep it real. It's not the same. It really isn't. Will it be a great match? We had it and it was a good match. It really was. But I didn't watch it and sat there and said that's Stone Cold versus The Rock. Wheeler Yuta and Dan Garcia are still very early on in their careers. What happened versus Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, even though we got it when they went against each other for the IC title, by the time they faced each other at WrestleMania, it was so much more. It was, top of the mountain type of situation. That's not the same thing. So if you're listening to this and you're the type of person that sat there and say something like that, gotta switch up the thinking, yo. Gotta switch up the thinking. But getting back to my recap, the match between Dan Garcia and Bryan Danielson, pretty good. I really give props to, AEW. AEW sometimes does it right with, letting the veteran wrestle someone who is, coming into the business, not really coming into the business, but, giving someone else time to shine. Very similar to what we had tonight with Ed versus Damian Priest. Do we expect such and such to win, it's a possibility that, the new up and comer may win, but normally it's the veteran who wins. But however, they still put on a great match with the up and coming wrestler to make you say, yo, I'm gonna check out more of Damian Priest. Or in this instance, I'm gonna check out more of Daniel Garcia. He was pretty good. And I really love the fact that we did a callback to how Bryan Danielson did say that he wanted Daniel Garcia to join his squad, and he wanted to, shake his hand. Chris Jericho comes out, and we had Garcia kind of like grab Jericho and was like, hold on, what are you doing here? He pulled Jericho off of Danielson, and Chris Jericho, I think he said they're gonna have a sit down or something like that. Who knows? Um, but yeah, pretty good. We also have the Ass Boys versus the Varsity Blondes, which was, it was a fine match. But we now have Billy Gunn is with the Acclaim, which I think works a lot better. Because of course, scissor me daddy ass, I never would have guessed that sentence would be so over with wrestling. We also had the main event, of course. Like, who cares everything else that happened? Who is the special partner of the Young Bucks? Because we had Andrade, Dragon Lee, and Roosh going against the Young Bucks and another person. Of course, people. It was teased that it was going to be Brandon Cutler. People thought it was going to be Hangman Page. But then there was a piece of paper that was given to Justin Roberts, and he started sounding off all of these, wonderful accomplishments and facts of the one and only Kenny Omega, who came back with it. He had it looked like his shoulder was in a sling or something like that, so of course he's not 100%. Was Kenny Omega like 100%? No. Like, let's be real, it's been a year since he'd been in the ring with all the injuries and stuff like that. So he wasn't going to be as smooth in the ring. So some people just needs to lower the expectations just a tad bit. He was going to be rusty. I knew he was going to be rusty. He's not going to come out and, wrestle like nothing has happened. I mean, the man has been dealing with multiple injuries the whole time he was gone. He was wrestling with vertigo, and I've talked about that before, how crazy that is, that he was wrestling with vertigo. But this was a pretty good match. While, Kenny held his own, he did, for as best as he could. Andrade, Dragon Lee, and Rouge, first of all, there was the spot where Andrade was holding the ropes open for, I think it was Dragon Lee. And Dragon Lee went through the ropes and did a flip onto Kenny Omega, and he landed clear into the front row. I don't know if that was a kid that he landed on, or if it was a girl or a small man, but he landed on someone. And Tony Khan needs to tell people, like, chill the hell out. This isn't the indie show that you do in the gym where you can land on people and the person sit there and laugh and, clap their hands and think it's a great old time. You can get definitely sued, even if the person, obviously wasn't injured. I mean, if somebody lands on me, it won't be far from my mind to just fall on the floor and start shaking and act like I have a broken hip or something like that. I'm in my 30s. Like, if I sleep wrong, my back hurts. So if you land on me in a flip, I'm going to fall on the ground and I'm going to cry. So, it is what it is. People have to be careful. I know, because those people was like, well, when you buy front row seats, that's the thing that you take. Like, no, I understand if I brought front row seats, that it's a possibility that Triple H may spit water on me during his entrance, or that someone may point to my sign or something like that. Or if, I'm up against the barricade, someone will be slammed against the barricade. But I'm not expecting someone to do a full flip and have their head kick me square between my eyebrows during a live show that, that a company spent millions of dollars on. I'm not expecting that. If I buy a front row seat, I'm buying a front row seat to, watch the action, not be involved in it. Like, I'm am you gonna tag me in? Like, if you hit me in the foot, apparently I'm being tagged in. I can't hop the barricade to, run into the ring and wrestle. Don't come over the barricade to wrestle me. You know what I mean? So, I thought that was very crazy when that happened. But it seemed like the person was okay. I'm glad that they're okay. But all I know, if it was me, I would fall down on the ground and start shaking and crying. Let it be known. You can tape this and send it to the lawyers right now. But yeah, it was a good episode of Dynamite. I'm expecting for Tony Khan to turn the game up because, and I just said the game, because the game is here, Papa H is here, and he's not coming to play. So I'm hoping that, we gonna get some fire Dynamites, especially with All Out coming. It's gonna be a crazy weekend, Labor Day weekend. We're going to get a lot of wrestling. We're going to have All Out from AEW. We have Clash at the Castle from main roster WWE. And then we have an NXT special Sunday afternoon. So it's just going to be, a lot of predictions and a lot of recaps. I'll tell you that right now. So let's get into some WWE. First of all, Papa H letting people know his kids are back in town, okay? Triple H is trying to make wrestling great again. Actually, not wrestling. He's making Raw great again. It's great when you look up and you realize, oh snap, it's been 3 hours already, and you kind of want more wrestling. These past 3 weeks actually, with Raw, I've enjoyed it. Normally, I turn on Raw, and it's pretty much like sound on the background, just so I know what's going on when I do my recaps about it and stuff like that. And I'm normally like playing the game or, figuring out what I need to do tomorrow, sometimes washing dishes or cooking dinner or something like that. But these past couple of times, like, I actually sat there and watched wrestling. Like, I sat there and gave it full attention, which, kudos to Pop H for that. But he's letting us know that Raw can be great again. And I know people are like, oh, the 3 hours, I wish it's back to 2 hours. I don't. No, thank you. No, thank you. Thank you, Papa H. You convinced me that 3 hours of Raw is fine. Because like I said, I've been watching it and the 3 hours fly by. Like, when wrestling is good, when you're watching something and it's pretty good, those hours will fly by. Raw was 3 hours, I think. Was Raw 3 hours during the Attitude Era? No. It was still 2 hours, I think. I think it went 3 hours. I think it actually went 3 hours after the Attitude Era. Probably even later than that. I don't know, it's been too long. Things are starting to mesh together, which really I'm not happy about that feeling like that. But yeah, I think Raw was 2 hours back then, but still, even with the third hour, when wrestling is pretty good, time flies by. I mean, we had that feeling with pay-per-views and stuff like that. So, I'm not too mad about, the 3 hours. If they decide to make it go back to 2 hours, whatever. But I think 3 hours of Raw, I think it can work. Especially gives women's wrestling a lot more time. You have the tag teams, especially when you're putting over the mid-card titles as well. Like, oh my gosh, the United States Championship is important again. Shout out to Bobby Lashley. Now I'm not feeling some type of way that Theory lost the match, and Bobby Lashley sitting here going after the wrong title, because now Bobby Lashley's he's important again. And, he is a defending champion, and they've been doing these video packages every week about the IC title, and I'm not that mad about it, because you have to understand there's been so much importance put towards the Universal and the WWE Championship that a lot of people don't really know the history of the United States Championship or the history of the IC title. I mean, people, with, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels and, going even further back than that, the importance of the IC title and the United States Championship. So, I was pretty fine about that. We also had the women's tag team tournament that's been going on. It was supposed to be Nikita Lyons and Zoe Starks, but I think Zoe got injured during Heat Wave, and so they were replaced by Toxic Attraction. And Toxic Attraction, Gigi had gotten injured as well, and so now they're doing I think it was a Fatal 4-Way or something like that, of, I guess, the women who have lost their matches. Which I'm not too mad about that. I'm not too mad about that at all. We also have, Judgment Day going against Edge and the Mysterios. They took out the Mysterios. Rhea Ripley has been beating down Dominic. And there's a lot of people who wish that it was them. It's a lot of people who wish it was them. It is what it is. We just have to sit here and be jealous for Dominic. And, he's just been getting his ass beat. I don't know, he needs to go to the Triple H and like, yo, bro, I can't do this anymore. He's been pretty much known as, Ray's kid, actually Eddie Guerrero's kid, but, Ray took custody of him and has just been getting his ass beat in every single feud. And the best that he does in the ring is the 619 with his dad. It's coming along, but, the amount of growth that I expect from him, this is a dig. It is what it is. Jade Cargill's wrestling has improved a lot better than Dominic. And I know Dominic has been, training for a very long time, but it just seems like for some reason, it's just like, the video game where you need to level up and you don't have enough coins, so you're just stuck at that one level. That's exactly how it feels with Dominic. It just feels like he's just stuck at that one level. And I feel bad for him because I feel like he has the potential to be a lot more. But even if they turn him heel, I know it seemed like they teased him turning heel, I won't really believe it because he comes off as such a nice kid, and I look at him like a kid too. So if he turns on his dad, I'm gonna feel like it's just a teenager going through the rebel phase. I'm not gonna be like, oh wow, he's like, he's a heel, he's menacing, and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, it's the kids, they go through the rebel phase. He'll figure it out. His friends will say something, turn on him or something like that, and he'll go crying to his daddy. That's how I feel. But I'm hoping with this time that they're not on TV. Dominic is just I don't know. He needs to go up to Edge. He needs to go up to somebody because Papa Rey Mysterio is not helping. He needs to go somewhere else. Not like AEW, but he needs to get help from somewhere else because he hasn't really been improving. And I feel like he should be a lot farther in the ring than what he is now, especially as much as they've been wrestling together and feuding. They were tag team title champions. They were feuding with the Judgment Day. I believe they were feuding with the Miz and Logan Paul. Yeah, they were feuding with the Miz and Logan Paul as well. Come on. Come on. We also been having Dolph Ziggler. First of all, Triple H showing us how good he is in creative. I know people are like, oh, he's been bringing back the NXT people, this, that, and the third. The IC titles and United States titles are important. Yo, Triple H made Dolph Ziggler relevant again. It's 2022. Whoa. If Triple H ever decides to do anything else outside WWE and he needs to give a resume, he needs to put on a resume, I made Dolph Ziggler relevant in 2022. Wow. Wow. And the crowd's cheering for them. I'm sitting here yeah, Dolph Ziggler, and I'm like, yo, It's been 11 years since he like was at the top of his popularity. And he had that Survivor Series John like a couple of years later, but it's like I'm like, yo, it's 2022. I remembered him and Bobby Roode, just they were the dirty dogs and all that other stuff, and it was just like, dude, like you get off the TV. You're taking up a spot. And now I'm like, yo, man, wow, Dolph Ziggler. Yo, that's a really good match. I'm excited to see Dolph Ziggler sitting there bopping to his theme and all that other stuff again. So I'm like, whoa, Triple H is just, he's really doing things. And, I knew he was good with NXT Black and Gold, but I didn't expect him to be this damn good that he made people cheer for Dolph Ziggler. And Dolph Ziggler didn't they ain't change his music, they ain't change his look, they ain't even change his moveset. All they did was position him with the right type of feud, and that's that. Crazy. And then we also have Dexter Loomis appearing. First of all, Triple H letting us know you need to pay attention to what's going on in the background. Like you can't, it's not as simple as watching the wrestler walk somewhere like we used to. Like we can see somebody walking and then you go eat something like that. You get up, you go eat, go to the bathroom. You can't do that anymore because there's so much shit going on in the background now. I'm sitting here feeling like I'm doing like a Where's Waldo's type of thing. Like I'm sitting here like, okay, look, why is that car smoking over there? Or yo, why is the security guards running that way? Like it's a lot going on. It feels like an actual backstage that's happening. Like, it's not just one person is walking down the hall for 10 minutes and no, it's the random guy pretending to be on the phone. Like there's Adam Pearce standing there looking at something smoking that happened this week. Or the one week where it was like a car accident or something like that. And then the other time there was, security guards just running past by. And we see Dexter Loomis getting carried away, the horror version of Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I'm here for it. I was nervous of Dexter Loomis going up to the main roster because I was like, yo, I straight up, no lie, I felt like they was going to do like a Gilbert version of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like I straight up felt like they was going to parody Stone Cold Steve Austin or something crazy. Like I know Gilbert was like straight dig at Goldberg and it was a straight dig at WCW, but I really thought it was going to be some type of comedy John and it would be like Dexter Loomis was trying to be like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Darn, I forgot the gimmick that is like Damian Sandow, but actually serious. Like he's not a stunt double. Like he actually wants to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's what I legit had a fear of that they was going to do to him. But what they're doing so far, chef's kiss. Okay, that's Dexter Loomis, but what the hell is he doing here? Is he connected to there's really it feels like I'm watching Dateline a little bit because I'm like, okay, there's Dexter Loomis. Was he involved with what's going on in the backstage with the car accident and the car smoke and stuff like that? Why is he being arrested? Like, isn't he legit wrestler here, or are we not acknowledging that he's been re-signed with WWE? Like, what's going on? I need for the insiders to sit there and to have so much shit to say. Like, I need an insider to figure out what's going on with Dexter Loomis. Like, get the 411. Talk to your insiders. What's going on backstage? I need someone to tell me, hey, this is what's happening. Like, I get you want to talk about CM Punk and all this stuff that's going backstage. You need to tell me what's going on backstage in WWE. Like, who the hell crashed the car? Why are the security guards running? This week, there was walking past by and Adam Pearce was pointing at something that was smoking. Like, we need details. Like, we need to know what's going on. WWE need to bring out a magazine or something like that because I need details. Like, you got to tell me what's going on. And then Papa H is just doing a lot of things. So then we had, of course, KO is back to being KO. The prize fighter KO. KO Mania is coming back again, ladies and gentlemen. He takes out Ezekiel. Ezekiel is in a hospital. They released a picture of the I don't even know their last names, but the Elias, Ezekiel, Ernie, like I forgot the dad's name, um England, I don't know, but it was the whole family. It was the whole family. It was baby E. Like I'm like I gotta go through, like I feel like I have to go through all the E names or something like that. And then the dad has spoken, which of course was actually Elias, but I was like, I'm all for this. I will take segments. I would love to see a segment of, like, they need to release a YouTube series of the Elias and Ezekiel family. I'm for that. Like, I am down for a family reunion segment and watching Elias like do all these characters like we're doing a reboot of the Nutty Professor. Like, I'm down for it all. And then we had um Drew McIntyre coming out and cutting a promo about Roman Reigns, and then Kevin Owens came out and was like, yo, you talking about you going after the title, I'm trying to go after the title too. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the little detail that it's not just one person going after the title, that everybody wants to go at the title at the same time. Like, we don't need to stand in a line here. I can stand beside you, and I'm not waiting for you to get beat up. Like, I feel as though I can, like, you may get the title shot, but I can get into the match too. That's how I'm feeling. Like, I feel like at any point they can make this match a triple threat or a fatal four-way at any second. And I like that. I like knowing that there are different people who wants to go after the title at the same time. I feel as though that makes sense. It's versus one person goes after the title and then the other person goes, well, I'm in line. No, 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 no. It's a free country. I could be added to this match too. So we have Drew going after the title. We have Theory going after the title. We have KO going after the title. We have Karrion Kross going after the title. We have Sami Zayn, who it seems like he is, sneaking his way to go after the title. Brock Lesnar can come back and go after the title. The Undertaker can come back and go after the title. Hell, The Rock can come in and go after the title. Like, everybody's going after the title. Which, like I said, makes sense. And then we had a great interaction between Drew McIntyre and KO. Drew McIntyre, he done set the wrestling world on fire with a simple sentence. We are two wrestlers in a wrestling ring. Whoa. I didn't know the word wrestler and wrestling existed in WWE. It seems like Triple H had opened the book to everyone and was like, look, guys, WWE stands for World Wrestling Entertainment. And all the creative writers and Kevin Dunn was like, oh, okay. And we're just getting all this craziness. Now, we still get, a little bit of the funky action cam and the zoom in and zoom out, which kind of made me a little bit upset because there was a few times, and I think it was SmackDown, where, the camera, I don't know what they were doing. They were trying to do the action sequence or something like that. And you missed, like Sami Zayn it was SmackDown. Sami Zayn went to try to save Roman Reigns, and he pushed Roman Reigns out of the way and got the Claymore kick, but the camera cut was so crazy that you couldn't see who it was. You just see Roman Reigns like all of a sudden standing there, and then the camera cuts again and you see Sami Zayn on the ground. So you missed the impact, which I'm like, come on guys, we need to clean that up just a little bit. Just a little bit, that's all. I'm happy that Karrion Kross is back with Scarlett. I have to say, TikTok bitches, we back again. Ronda Rousey is where she's at. She is the I'm here to, take names and kick ass. I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum. And she's here to break arms. And she needs more arms. I'm all for that. And then Hit Row came back. And listen, okay, I get it. There's the excitement because they are, Papa H's kids and stuff like that. But I believe I said this previously, and I will say this again. Hit Row was good to me because of Swerve. So them coming back is obviously like something missing, and that's because it was Swerve. Swerve put that bit of extra flavor there, but people are excited because they're back and stuff like that. So they got the crowd cheering for them, stuff like that. But I was a fan of Hit Row because of Swerve. And now that they're not there, now that they're there without Swerve, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. Especially the fact that they've been brought back on the main roster. I felt as though that they were kind of called up a little bit too early. Like Swerve was ready, but I feel as though the others, especially B-Fab, was called up a little too early. Now I don't know if she has gotten better since I have last seen her wrestle, because I do remember precisely. It was actually no, I think was she called up with? Yeah, she was called up with them. Um, I do remember precisely it was her versus Elektra in a match, and it wasn't really that great. And I felt as though they just need a little bit more time. Like B-Fab has a great look, she really does, and stuff like that. And I think she's gonna be really good. She just needs time. And I felt as though they were called up a little too early. And a Top Dollar and Ashante, I think his name is. They were cool. They're cool as a tag team. They're cool as a tag team. But I just felt as though they definitely had that extra flavor because of Swerve. And I felt as though Swerve really didn't need, Hit Row to, be elevated in WWE. But Hit Row needs Swerve to be elevated in WWE. So we'll see how it goes with them, without him. It'll let us know if Swerve made the group or not. I wish them luck, but I wasn't sitting here hyped when they came back, truthfully. I mean, they had a squash match and people, were cheering for them and stuff like that. But it's just not the same. It's just not the same without them. So coming up with last week's SmackDown, Raquel Rodriguez is very popular with the fans. We also had the Viking Raiders doing a video package. They did a funeral. They did a funeral and stuff like that for the New Day and stuff like that. And there was a woman there, looked like Sarah Logan. If it's her, welcome back, girl. Can't wait to see the reunion between her and Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan, I feel bad for Liv Morgan. And it was something that I saw on Reddit. I think it was Reddit or Twitter, one of them. Someone had made someone pointed out that Becky Lynch, when Liv Morgan was going against Becky Lynch for the title, and Becky Lynch won, and people were upset that Liv Morgan lost. Becky Lynch had cut a promo and said that you guys wanted Liv Morgan to win, right? She's like, even if I were to lose and Liv Morgan was to stand here with the title, you guys will find every reason to still not be happy about it. And she was like, am I lying? And literally a couple of months later, Liv Morgan wins the title, and people are booing her and chanting, "You tapped out," and chanting for Ronda. And now, some people are saying that, she isn't strong enough to carry the title and stuff like that. And it's like, weren't you guys just, doing hashtags and shit, for Liv Morgan to win the title? Like, let her live. You know what I mean? She says it, let her live. Let her enjoy her title reign. We have, Bianca Belair and stuff like that. She's gonna hold the title until Ronda Rousey or Charlotte Flair says so. Or if Triple H is so bold to let Shayna win that title, which a part of me wants to happen because I love Shayna Baszler. Then so be it. But let her have her moment that she can put on her resume that she was SmackDown Women's Champion. Like, y'all wanted her to win so badly. Like, deal with it. You got your wish. What are you mad about? But we have Sami Zayn, who finally gets to talk to Roman Reigns, and that little interaction was pretty interesting as well. We also had I think it was a fatal five-way or something like that. Fatal five. Um, to pick out the number one contender who would challenge Gunther and Red, who hates America, for the IC title at Clash at the Castle, which was Sheamus. So we have Sheamus versus Gunther, Gunther and Red, who hates America, at Clash at the Castle. And Sheamus' chest is very pale, and I cannot wait to see that bad boy get red as hell with them Gunther chops, them Walter chops, as I like to call them. But I'm not too mad about it. Can't wait to see that match. I am still waiting for the footage of Walter versus Cesaro. That bad boy is going to be like as rare and wanting to see as that Bret Hart match. I forgot who he went against, but it's a Bret Hart match that was just like there's like no footage of it anywhere, like it never existed, but there's footage of this match that Bret Hart had with someone. I think it was a guy who was going to be like the next Hulk Hogan or something like that. It was something crazy, and it was a really good match too. I forgot the guy's name, but it is what it is. We also had so with the latest SmackDown, we had the Maximum Male Models, which is still a thing. Don't know if people are, complaining about it now that Papa H is in charge, but that's still a thing. I feel as though like we could do something better with it, but it is what it is. We have to have, we have to have a little bit of comedy in the picture. And Hit Row comes out, and they put on a little concert, which, it is what it is. If we're gonna have this feud between the Maximum Male Models and Hit Row, then oh well. I had said previously, I'm just very interested on how this Maximum Male Models would translate in the wrestling ring. Like it's cool with the fashion, the runways and stuff like that, and the little sponsored videos. But where's the wrestling coming in? So it looks like we're going to get something like that, whether that's for SmackDown this coming week or if they're going to hold it off for a Clash at the Castle. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? And now coming into Raw this week. First of all, gosh, Papa H just letting us all know that he can put on a good 3 hours of wrestling. Let me tell you, I was straight up dumbfounded. We come from a commercial break, and then they just hit Johnny Gargano's theme. And I love Johnny Gargano's theme. And so I'm looking at it, and I was just straight like, when the computer gets frozen and you just see the circle just spinning? That's how it was for like a cool 5 seconds. As I'm hearing the music, I'm looking at the screen and I see Gargano and I'm like, like what? And so was the crowd, apparently, because the crowd didn't cheer, they didn't pop or anything like that, because it's just like, whoa, wait, what? What's happening? We got Johnny Gargano back. We got Johnny Wrestling back, which I can't believe. I'm a fan of Johnny Gargano. Like I said, I love his theme music. But he's back. He's back. He's on the main roster, and Papa H letting us know, like, yeah, we don't need to drop any hints or anything like that. No, this person going, this incoming person going against such and such. It just happens. And I love when stuff like that happens, because it makes you want to tune in each week to find out who's coming next. It was just like that with AEW when we had the excitement of who's coming on All Out, and we had Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson coming and all that other stuff, and there was like the excitement in the air of who's coming next. That's how I'm feeling right now with WWE. It's like, who's coming next? I mean, we got Johnny Gargano on the main roster, and it's like, okay, DIY, and who's he gonna feud with next? And he cut a very, good promo and stuff like that about his dreams and how he is a dad. And we got baby wrestling now as well, which got a chant. And then Theory comes out and the crowd's chanting, "Who's your daddy?" And Johnny Gargano's like, "Isn't it me? Am I your dad?" Of course, calling back to NXT Black and Gold. And so, they kind of went back and forth, stuff like that, how, Theory has all grown up, and now I was once the apprentice, and now I'm the master. Okay, Darth Vader. Um, then Theory was like, all right, let's do the high five one more time, and Gargano gave him a super kick. And now we're gonna have, I guess, the feud between Theory and Gargano, which I am not mad about. I'm not mad about that at all. We also had, because we're in Toronto, we had a big thing, a big promo of Edge going against Damian Priest. And so, like I said, with Bryan Danielson going against Daniel Garcia, we have Edge going against. I mean, Damian Priest isn't like new or anything like that, because he was called up to the main roster a while ago. But given someone who is like a little newer, not newer, but who hasn't been on the main roster, um, or the main stage for, a long time, to be given that bit of a shine with Edge. This was a pretty good match between these two, with Beth Phoenix in the front row. Of course, Rhea Ripley got involved. They threatened, Rhea Ripley got involved. And then here come Beth Phoenix with the chair and stuff like that. I love her coat, first of all. Sitting there like, bring it, bitch. And I'm like, okay, Rhea versus Beth. Beth versus Rhea. Thank you. I'll take that. I need Beth Phoenix to start training right now. So, I'm fine with that. We have Finn Balor, who got different music, and so did Damian Priest. Damian Priest has sounds like he got his theme back, which I'm not mad about because I like his old theme. Um, and then Finn Balor got some music. It was very generic. I'm hoping that it's like placeholder music till we figure out a better theme, or unless the Judgment Day isn't going to last for too long. So Triple H is like, there's no reason to like have new music all set up because they're about to break up anyway. Who knows? Like I said, we also have Dolph Ziggler being relevant again in 2022, going against Finn Balor. That was a good match between them two as well. Chad Gable, ladies and gentlemen, he is back. I mean, I didn't mind his thank you and shush please, because it kind of reminds me a bit of Kurt Angle with his stuff, with his comedy things as well. So I don't mind Chad Gable being the way he is, as long as he could bring it in the wrestling ring. And he went against Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is showing us like Papa H is back in charge as well. We had Finn Balor, like I said, going against Dolph Ziggler, which was a pretty good match. We had The Miz and Ciampa going against Bobby Lashley and AJ Styles. I love Bobby Lashley's entrance. I really do. I really do. Like, I don't know. It's just so badass. But we had someone appear um in the crowd near AJ Styles. I thought it was Dexter Loomis, but it looked like they made it seem like it was a fan. But if you look closely, and I may have to look again, but it looked like the person was wearing like black makeup around their eyes, and they kind of like was smiling and looking crazy. And then then Dexter Loomis showed up, grabbed the Miz, kidnapped him, and as he's backing away, he is doing a cold ass stare into the camera. And I said kudos to Dexter Loomis for keeping it horror, letting us know, like, no, this isn't your average wrestling show. We're turning a little bit into Dateline right now, America's Most Wanted type of situation, by grabbing the Miz and just staring into the camera. So I cannot wait to see like what this actually is. And then it's like, well, who's the first guy? And it's like, could it be that Dexter Loomis is getting a bit of a faction which I'm not too mad at. Not like a Nexus type of situation, but not like what Retribution should have been, except for it's a little bit of horror. But what Retribution should have been. You have Dexter Loomis and a bunch of people who decided to create chaos a bit in WWE. So you have a crashing car, you have the security guards running places, you have someone, got something smoking backstage. So it will be like so cool if that's actually what's going on. If this is basically what, like I said, what Retribution should have been. You want to create chaos, have, show up in the front row of the, Raw. I was about to say SmackDown, but it's actually Raw. And you have your little followers who come in and they create chaos as well. And that's why you have the security guards showing up and arresting them all the time because they're doing this stuff backstage. And I think that'll be a really cool thing. There'll be definitely something new, and it'll, kind of like give like quote unquote Retribution a second chance. You could easily throw in T-Bar with this as well. Change the name, of course. But you could easily throw in T-Bar. Mia Yim is in Impact anyway. But you could bring in some people who may not have been, who are actually part of the main roster, but may not have gotten, their actual time to shine. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be mad at it. I'm hoping that's kind of what we're going here, that it's actually a Dexter Loomis type of faction. Not exactly like House of Horror type of situation, but like I said, kind of similar to Retribution, except for it's more of a horror element to it, with Dexter kidnapping people and dragging them through the crowd while staring deep into your soul through the camera. So I'm fine with that. Aaliyah kind of got put over a bit. I didn't know she was from Canada. She got the hometown pop, and she, of course, but she lost to Bayley as well. And then we had an appearance from Trish Stratus, which is, that's always a good thing. Who's complaining about Trish Stratus appearing on TV? But all in all, this was a very good episode of Raw, and just like it felt like it was like multiple main events, like Bobby Lashley and AJ Styles versus The Miz and Ciampa could have easily been a main event for Raw. And so for that to be like the end of the second hour, like I'm not complaining about that at all. I feel as though, like I said, wrestling is good again. It really is. So I'm happy. Now Tony Khan has 48 hours to respond. Fight for our attention. And despite whether you are a big fan of WWE or a big fan of AEW, at the end of the day, we're going to have some good ass TV. And September 3rd and September 4th is going to be really good days because we're going to have Clash at the Castle. We're going to have Papa H trying to put on a really good show. We're going to have Tony Khan put on a really good show because it's all out and it's in Chicago. We're going to have NXT put on a pretty good show as well. I did check out NXT Heatwave. It was fine. It was okay. It is what it is. The Women's Championship was pretty good. The Core versus Roxy, it was okay. Core is greener than the Hawk. It was an okay match. It is what it is. Like, I don't watch NXT 2.0 consistently, and I try not to review NXT 2.0 like that because it is people who are like just coming, like it's really like the developmental brand. Like, it's not the NXT Black and Gold where these are established wrestlers from other places. These are wrestlers that are being grown in the backyard of WWE. So I can't really be too critical about it, because, while I said Cora is greener than the Hawk, like, it's a developmental show. They're trying to put the rocket on her to make her the next whatever, but she's not ready yet. And with the street fight, it was a cool match. Very bad finish. It was a very sudden finish, especially for this to be a 4-month feud and them doing that video package. Like, I expected a much stronger finish to this feud between the two factions. But however, we getting Legado. I don't know if it's just Escobar. But if it's the full Legado del Fantasma coming up to the main roster, like sign me up for that. I need him versus Rey Mysterio. I mean, Rey Mysterio is still good, but I just need Escobar involved in everything. And I need that theme. I need them to have that theme and their entrances and stuff like that. Their badass entrances, like Chef's Kiss, for all that. The title match was pretty good. It had its weird moments here and there. And we had a lot of NXT UK appearances happening out of nowhere. We also had an introduction to the Super Diva Quincy Elliott. Very interested how we're doing it. I don't know if he's going to present it like Velveteen Dream type of thing, or is this going to be like a representation? And I'm interested about that as well. Like, are we like why? I just want to know why. I know it's Papa H, so I think he'll be presented fine, but I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I probably until I see it presented in the ring, I don't know how to feel about it. Like I don't know to be like excited that we're getting different representation in WWE because WWE did have an open gay wrestler, and it wasn't. He wasn't really put on a front page like that until it was on TMZ, and then it like fizzled out, and then he got released. So I'm not quite sure if the Super Diva Quincy Elliott will be presented as a serious wrestler, or if this is going to be like fun, crazy comedic segments. I don't know. It's up to them. It was an okay promo. Very I don't know, very, I wouldn't say generic, but definitely like rehearsed. Uh, how some promos kind of feel very scripted. That's kind of how it was. Like I said, I try not to be as, so critical of NXT 2.0 because it is like they're developmental. But if you're gonna put it on, primetime TV, like it has to be judged as a prime TV show. But until I won't really have a recap for NXT until the show. Maybe I'll watch the go home show so I can know what's going on for the NXT special. I forgot what's the name of it, if it does has a name of it already, but I forgot what it is. But all in all, very good wrestling these past couple of weeks, especially with WWE. I can't wait for AEW to, first they need to figure out what's going on with their champion. And then figure out what are we doing for All Out. And then figure out from there, putting on a good show. And figuring out what are we doing for Ring of Honor. Because we need to do something about that. But yeah, that's it for the Wrestlebread podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Coming up next week, I'll be doing more reviews of AEW and WWE as well. We have the crazy match between Jon Moxley and CM Punk for the championship. I don't know if this match is actually happening or not, but who knows. Be sure to hop on Twitter and follow me at JDC137. That's JAYDE, the letter C137. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter at Wrestlebread. Be sure to click the links in the bio for the Instagrams, the Facebook, and the YouTube channel as well. Be sure to leave a review. Let me know your thoughts, how you feel about wrestling in 2022. And strap in and let's enjoy the ride and enjoy the show. And until next time, guys, peace.